Okay, do not center your attention on France so much. France's economy is not good, it's weak. They have over 10% unemployment. That's the official figure. It's probably at least twice that high, maybe three times that high is unofficially. But don't look at France so much, even though France could explode and go crazy. Look at Italy. Italy is where the real problem is. Let's take a look here at Italiana Airlines. I think that's how you pronounce it. Italiana Airlines. It says a sudden collapse of Italiana Airlines would be a shock to Italy's economy, says the minister. And a sudden collapse of the loss-making national airlines, Italiana, would be a great shock to the Italian economy. Industry Minister Carlo Calienda said on Sunday, Rome has thrown the crisis-hit airline a short-term lifeline. Now, this is what it seems to me that Italy is doing all the way across the board. They're doing it with their banking system. They're doing it with their airline. They're doing it with everything. Is they're giving them these bridging loans and these crisis loans just to get them for a few months, to get them a few further for a few months. Now, where's all this going to get them in the end? Extending and pretending. They're extending loans and then they're pretending like there's no problem. Where is this going to actually get them in the end? I'll read a little bit more about this. It says Rome has thrown the crisis-hit airline a short-term lifeline, a bridging loan of up to 400 million euros. To see it through a process whereby an administrator will decide if it can be sold or it should be liquidated. It says, if there's a sudden closure, it would be a shock to the GDP, the economic output, much greater than the scenario where you're looking at a brief period of 6 months covered by a bridging loan from the government so that a buyer could provide services that Italians need as travelers, he said in an interview. Rival airlines, it says, have shown little interest in buying Italiana. Creditors have refused to lend more money after workers last Monday rejected a rescue plan that would have reduced pay and cut 17,000 jobs. And so I guess the workers of the airline, they don't want to have their jobs cut. 1,700 jobs, I should say, would be cut. And it would have reduced pay for the people that would still have jobs in the airline. So it's a pretty big airline. They're going to cut 1,700 jobs. I mean, that's a big airline, Italiana. And this would have a very adverse effect on the Italian GDP. But all they're doing is nobody wants to buy it. Says rival airlines have shown very little interest in buying it. So they're like, no, we don't want that. That's, the other airlines. And so 6 months from now, their opinion's not going to change. All of a sudden, 6 months from now, they're going to say, hey, we want that airline. No. They're still going to be, we don't want it. We don't want it. And so when the bridging loans fail. So we're looking at 4 to 6 months from now, this running out. This money that they're giving them, this $400 million. And that means they're only going to be $400 million deeper in debt. So, okay, that's enough of that airline. Let's take a look at what else is coming down the pike. It says, for years, Italian lenders have muddled through, hoping time would cure their afflictions. But Italian's economy has been terminally weak. It's not growing at all. Over the recent 13-year stretch, bad loans are festering. Good loans have deteriorated. Italy's problems are Europe's problems. Nearly 1/5 of all loans in the Italian banking system are classified as troubled. A toll worth 360 billion euros, or nearly 400 billion American dollars. At the end of the last year, according to the International Monetary Fund, it represents 40% of all bad loans within the countries sharing the euro. So what are we looking at here? We're looking at a banking system in Italy, not just the airlines, but a banking system in Italy that's crumbling. under 400 billion worth of bad toxic loans. And what are they doing about all this? Well, effectively, what they're doing is they're not doing anything. They're trying to patch the banks, and they're hanging on for time. Well, okay, let's take a look now at what time's going to yield them. What is time going to yield them? This is what time's going to yield them. And this is an article from Reuters. The anti-establishment five-star movement, already Italy's most popular party, is stealing a march on its divided rivals by drawing up its policy program a year ahead of elections. With the ruling center-left Democratic Party embroiled in a bruising leadership battle, and with center-right parties unable to agree on a leader, opinion polls give the five-star a growing lead, which one pollster last week put as high as 8 percentage points. So this five-star party in Italy has an 8 percentage point lead over all the other parties, right? Now, they're already putting their policies in place. The party's parliamentarians have begun drawing up programs on all the main areas of policy and putting them one by one to its members for online votes, a procedure which five-star party says respects its credo of direct democracy. The members cannot propose policies, but only put in order of preference those drawn up by the party. So far, it's presented its plans on energy, foreign policy, employment, among other things. So this party is already realizing that it's probably going to take Italy. And what they're doing is they're already forming their government within this party. They feel so certain of their victory, and are already 8 points ahead in the polls of any other party, this five-star party. And so what ultimately does this party want to do? They want to tackle inequality. They want to tackle poverty, the five-star party, but they also are very anti-Euro. They're very Eurosceptic party. They want to abandon. It says the party's hostility to the Euro wants Italy to abandon the Euro through a referendum and rejection of multilateral trade deals. It says it's likely to find favor with the right-wing Northern League. Its environmentalist ideas on energy and flagship policy of universal income support for the poor may be more attractive to the left. So here we have a party that's coming into power in Italy in a very short period of time that is very Eurosceptic and wants to leave. It probably wants to leave the European Union. They want to abandon the Euro. So, I mean, I'm just assuming that if they want to abandon the Euro, they're probably not going to be a party that's going to take their orders so much from Brussels. And so this is what's coming down the pike for Italy, is this new party coming in. And I think what they're trying to do with the banking system and with the airline and everything else, they're just giving them enough money to keep them going. The European Union is. With no foresight into the future, ultimately this five-star party is going to come in, and then probably what their plan is to let everything fall at that point. So Italy is probably going to go through some sort of a collapse of some sort or another because of the $360 billion of outstanding debts to the banking system. That's non-performing loans. And also the airline ready to go down, all simultaneously at the same time with this five-star party getting in. It's just a crisis in the making that's of unbelievable proportions for Europe. Italy is. And we have to watch and see what will happen, but this is a crisis that could absolutely overshadow the crisis that's building in France. Also, at the same time, there is a crisis building in France. Even if Emmanuel Macron were to get elected in France, he's not going to solve France's problems. The underlying problems are tremendous. And so we have to wait and see what's going to happen in Europe. But Europe is looking more and more like a building crisis, a slowly festering crisis. And it looks like what happened in Greece is only bound to spread to the rest of Europe. So thank you for listening, like and subscribe, and we will catch you in the next article. Bye.